Beautiful. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Veil with Conscious Evolution and the Bones.
Ballsy.
What up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's happening? What's happening?
Another episode. This is
Doing
our 18th episode. Can you believe it?
on the 9. It's
Right
gotta
on.
be a good one. Better be a good one then.
Yeah, it always is. So, we really didn't have much of a topic in mind today, just kind of going with the flow. And, we've both been going through a lot of experiences. So I figured we have plenty to talk about and everything
Right.
going on in our lives since we came back from our retreat or our festival that we're creating. And we got an angry
Yes.
outside.
What do you got in here? What?
Angry crow.
Must be the X.
Yeah.
Edit that
Oh, man. So
out.
what's new with you, man? You've been pumping out some
Oh,
videos lately, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving all the things, all the creativity that's flowing with your life.
yeah.
It's-
Well, I had even heard that the creative energies were going to be like, I heard that some, I don't really pay attention to the astrology stuff. I know you go on there, Lunash, and you kind of like know a little bit more about it than me, and I am just now like realizing I need to be more in tune with that because um, there really is so much information, and if you know how to read astrology, you know when to shuck and jive. You know when to when you should be moving one way instead of moving the other way, or the ebb and flows of things, and you'll know when your powers or your energy is at such a peak level that, like, if you're wanting to go out and make some money, or if you're wanting to conquer something or create something or whatever you're wanting to do, you'll know when the time is right, when you'll get the most beneficial or the most I don't know, the better results. You'll end up getting like you'll do better, or however, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, you basically
You'll be
can tell when the wind's at your back.
right, exactly. Instead of being against it, right.
Right.
And so, and I had heard, so, but I mean, and that had a little bit to do with what I was like, some of the stuff I've been creating. But another thing that had to do with it was like QHHT. I told you how much of a, what a eye-opening event that was for me. I had needed to hear some things from my higher self. I really needed it. And what's so strange is that it's been there the whole time. The information's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
We go back to the reconnect. I'm going to go back just a little bit, and I'm going to try to keep it brief because I've talked about some of this stuff before. But, I told you, like, after I first had my awakening, that started in September of 17, and then I started really peaking out as far as my frequency being so high. And I mean, I was vibrating all over and seeing colors and seeing entities and seeing magical things all around me and all these crazy things. Then my back went out. And, when my back went out, for some reason, I went ahead and, like, I don't know if I screamed uncle or whatever, but I just went ahead and accepted, well, it's all off now. It's all off. Instead of trying to obtain it, because I knew I was going to go and have a reconnection done in September. So I thought, when I have that reconnection, man, he's going to hook me up, So I go there, and, I had the on the table experiences, but when I got up, there was nothing profound and not a lot of things changing. All the synchronicities were crazy as far as going there, and everything having to do with the 9. It was like everything was on the 9 and all this. But I had the mistake that I had made, and I think a lot of us make, and I've just come to this realization, is like I told you about me coming into alignment with myself, is that I wasn't going after it. I was waiting for it to come to me. I kept thinking, he's going to fix me. I just got to lay here and it's all going to be fixed. Well, you got to meet that shit halfway. You've got to put in the work. You've got to go, and you've got to listen to your higher self. You can't, he's not going to come up and grab you on the shoulder and say, hey, dude, hey, wake up. You have to literally, because it's a subtle voice, and it's deep within, and it's in when you get into that quiet space, when you get into that stillness, when you can communicate with your higher self who has your best interest in mind. And like I said, after that QHHT, and I had actually literally communicated with myself. I came home, and it's funny because Kim, she doesn't really have a lot of real deep insight and stuff like that, but she went deep on me this time. And I had I had started. I told you I had this experience where I was loving myself again. I was like, "Is this something that I preach it, but I don't practice it?" She's sitting there, and I was telling her this, and I was telling her how I was feeling. I'm finally believing what I tell everybody else. I always tell everybody, "You're magnificent," you know. Damn it. And I get, I get really serious about that, trying to make everybody, but I don't think about it for me. I don't take that advice. And she said, I've been telling you for years, you always never take your own advice. You have the best advice, but you don't take it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. And then we get to talking a little bit more, and I'm telling her, what's going on. And because I told her that I thought it all left me. I'd been just like, I told Case that too. And he's like, man, just fake it till you make it. He said, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep going in that direction. Eventually it'll come back to you. You're just in a ebb and flow of this thing, it goes up and down, up and down. So I was, I'm still doing the meditation, I'm still doing all my things, but I'm not feeling what I had felt. You know what I'm talking about, bliss town, where you love everything, and just the stuff on TV is a joke. The stuff that people are doing, even the people in your life who are trying to hurt you, it's a joke. It's like, this is so pathetic on this little earth. It's such a meaningless little place. What we really are and what there really is so magnificent compared to these crumbs. It's just this earth and all these things that we feel and that we pile on top of us are just crumbs. And we make them into boulders. We make them into, and we're strapping them around, and we're just walking around just with all this weight, and we can't go forward, and we can't go back, and we can't go side to side in our minds, because fear, it comes down to fear. It comes down to fear. But anyway, I was telling her I thought it left, and she's like, no, it didn't leave it. You left it. It didn't leave you. Now you're back to it. And I'm like, damn, baby, where'd you come from? She's coming up with shit. And I'm like, you're right, though. I'm like, damn, you're so right. It was me all along. Yeah. I expected Case to fix it. I've expected him to fix my shit. No, it was me. It was me who was sitting there saying, well, it left me, hey, it'll come back, I get, instead of me saying, hey, go get on the train, dude, get on the fucking train, so yeah. Like I was telling you, I had this like image of, if I could use like an analogy, let's say that, you're this spark, you're this consciousness, you're in the universe, and you're going to come to Earth, and they tell you, okay, now you're going to go to Earth, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick out this body, okay, and you're going to ride shotgun with this body. He's driving. Now, you can make suggestions, but he has free will, free choice. You two are connected at the hip until the end, until you crash this motherfucker, right? So he's going to make the choices, and whatever he decides is where you two go. You can make suggestions, but he gets to make the decision at the end of the day, which I am the driver. My higher self is the passenger. I'm not listening to this dude. I know if I drive ahead, I'm going to run out of gas. So I'm like, no, I ain't, and he's like, go, man, go. And I'm like, no. He's like, turn left right here, turn left right here. I'm like, fuck no, I ain't turning left right here. That's such and such. I ain't going that way. I hate that place. Everything he just tells me to do, everything he suggests, I'm like, no, I've got a reason why I don't. I've got a fear or an opinion or something predisposed in my mind that I already know where I'm going. I don't need any help, Yeah,
you got that tunnel vision.
Right. And, and I know that a lot of people are probably their higher self is telling them, quit that fucking job, dude. Quit that job. And they're like, no, I can't quit that job. If I quit that job, I'm going to lose that Harley. And and the higher self is like, dude, you knew you got ripped off when you got that Harley. You knew that, you paid that down, and you're going to be paying on that the next 5 years. And you're going to have to keep the shitty job that you have to keep the shitty deal that you got on that bike. If you say, no, but my credit will go down if I take that bike back. Yeah, but you'll be able to quit your job. You'll be able to restart. You can build that credit in 2 or 3 years, but you're not listening to that. So you stay in it. rut in this ditch and this mud bog, you know. But anyway, as a driver, here I go, right? I've got, I'm just little. I'm just this little boy. And the first thing I do, stop, get out. You're going to get hit by a car. Back up. Don't you ever play out in that street again, you know. You know, so my first thing is I'm scared of the street. Then I'm going to touch a candle. You know, oh my God, you're going to burn yourself. So, oh my God, now I'm scared to death of fire, you know. What's a spider? It's a spider, you know. So now I just, and it keeps building on. So I'm throwing this shit in the trunk, right? I keep throwing this shit in the trunk. Well, the more stuff I throw in the trunk, I got this other cat in the back called my subconscious. He's remembering all of this. He's going to remind me. I've got my higher self over here talking shit to me, and I got my subconscious talking shit to me. But his stuff's fear-based, stuff I've already seen. This dude's talking about shit that I've never seen. You know, he's telling me how great it can be. You just drive up and hang a right, dude. You go down 3 blocks, it's right there. Everything you ever wanted. This dude back here is like, you remember the last time you hung a right? You remember the last time you hung a right? Remember what happened? He pulled up in that hood. Somebody stuck a gun on you and got you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not hanging a right. I'm not hanging a right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm having this vision of the wrong person is driving this vehicle and it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. And so, you know, Africa had talked about being in alignment with herself. And I'm like, what does that even mean? You know, I want to be in alignment with myself. I'm thinking, you know, what is it? Because I know I'm out of alignment. And I had this vision too of like 3, you know, 1.5 pieces of PVC and this water pouring through it. You know, and this is your subconscious up here. Down here is your experience. Right in the middle is you. And you're not in alignment. You're tilted off. So when that flow comes through the first pipe, it hits you, it splashes all over the place. So there's no experience at the bottom being filled. Your bottom pipe isn't being filled because nothing's getting through. Once you tilt yourself and get yourself into alignment, the flow goes through you, goes into the experience. You have this flow, you know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to see all this from this different ways of looking at things. I'm like, wow, you know, if I let this dude drive, what will happen? What if I do lose what I got? Because I've been bitching about the shit I got. Just like everybody else, they hate the job, but they don't want to lose the job because they're trying to keep that apartment that they think sucks and they can't stand it there. They hate their neighbors. Why are they trying to keep that? Because, you know, I got to have a place. I might have to go back to my mom's, or I might have to do. You got to go with it. You just got to go with it. If your higher self, if you can get in tune, if you can still yourself down, or, you know, get yourself still enough to where you can hear yourself, man, he's got you, just like everybody's always said, your best interest in mind. You know, whatever's best for you is where he's going to lead you. You know, you've listened and you've made some ginormous leaps, you know, and you're still living. You look at you, you're alive. You didn't die. You didn't fall off the side of the mountain. So, you know, all the fears that you could have said, oh, you know, you can still be stuck back on the East Coast, and who wants to be there? You know, who wants to be there? And it's just like, damn, you know, listen to it. Just listen and go with it. Try it. Maybe you will end up in the soup line, but I don't think so. Yeah. I think that once you drop this, another opportunity will blossom just like the lotus. Boom. Yep. It'll be there. You're open to it now.
And it falls in right in the perfect timing. You know, it's always the perfect timing. All you have to do is allow it. You know, once we're at that place where we allow, the magical shit happens. I remember that was probably one of the hardest things I had to do, and I had such clear guidance from my higher self to quit my job. And it started as an impulse. Like right after I started my YouTube channel, I just had like this impulse to quit my job. I'm like, how great would that be? Like, how awesome would that be just to quit working the 9 to 5 and just live? But that fear, everyone's like, oh, how are you going to make money? How are you going to pay for this? How are you going to do this? What are you going to do? You can't provide for this, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's fear. And that like kept me there. And, you know, I had all these problems piling up from these storms I kept creating in my life to push me away, to push me onto my path, I should say, to get me out of the situation that didn't serve me any longer. And these problems kept piling up and piling up, and I was getting so much resistance, and I couldn't find the way, and like I'm just like beating myself up trying to figure out the best course of action to take. And that was when my higher self literally said, quit your job. And I was like, oh. And then I started thinking, like, okay, so if I quit my job, then I can get assistance over here because they won't help me because I have a job. And then over here, it gets better because now I can have insurance if I don't have a job. Like, it's like everything worked when I didn't work. It was the strangest thing. It was like the perfect scenario set of circumstances that allowed me to quit my job and actually be thriving more than when I was working.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It worked out beautiful. And so I'm doing the same thing here, and I was able to come into alignment with the exact amount of money I needed to take these trips. So it's like I put those trips into the universe, put that out there that I'm going to take these trips. And then right in the perfect timing, someone, helped me out, or, this things just fell into place and the money was there
Right.
that could provide for my trip. And it just worked out perfectly. And it's just continuing to do that. But it's like, but when you get into that vibration of worrying where the money is going to pay for, how are we going to pay rent this month? How are we going to make the car payment? How are we going to pay for insurance? Like, oh, we don't have a job. We don't have the money. And like, that's the vibration that's going to keep you away from figuring out the way that you're going to accomplish those things. So you just got to let go. I mean, but you do, and I think you said that, you do have to take action. You can't just sit there and wait for it to come to you.
Right. It's not going to come.
Absolutely expect it to happen because it will happen. The universe will provide for you. But you got to take some kind of action to get there.
That's where a lot of people, they get caught up in the law of attraction. They don't, they want to manifest money. They want to manifest this or that. And then they sit there and wait. They think, well, this manifesting isn't working. Guess what? It's a two-way street. You got to go to it. It's there. If you go, and the more you apply yourself, the more things that you'll see, and the more angles you'll see them from, and the more ideas you'll get, things you never even thought of. You're like, wow, I forgot that I knew how to do this, and I used to do this when I was younger, and I'm really good at it. And I would love to get a job doing that. And since I quit my job and I started traveling to the beach and, just chilling because I ain't got nothing else to do, I found a place that actually, makes surfboards or, makes whatever, things whatever, bracelets, whatever. And you find, because you'll lead yourself to these things as long as you're just following your path without fear. You have to go, man. Can you imagine if they stopped at the United States, if they stopped at the Ohio River, and they're just like so scared, and they just let the rest of it go, and Spain ended up, or France ended up, or whoever ended up with the rest of the country. And, on this side of Ohio would be the United States, and on that side would be France, part of France or whoever.
Yeah.
And, it's like, somebody had to have that courage to cross that thing. Somebody had to have the courage to go see what is over there. Let's see what's up. And it's in our DNA. It's instinctually in us. I mean, we're the most curious species and the most ambitious, the most driven. We see an island, we have to get to it. We see the moon, we have to go. Anything we think we can get to, we'll go to it. Anything we think we can create, we'll try it. That's just how we are, and that's what we're going to do. It's built into us. Us slaves, us that have been put into this slavery and these chains and into this matrix of, this web, this caught in where we can't get out, we don't believe that. That's why we're not going to the moon individually but the people who believe they can go to the moon are going to the moon. They don't have chains on them.
The only limit in what you can do in this life is your imagination.
Exactly, right here.
I mean, that is literally it. it's like the finding solutions to the problem is like just a matter of shifting your perception about something, or looking at it from a different point of view. And
Right.
you're put into alignment with the things that you are, interested in, the things you want to manifest. You just kind of get put on that path by an impulse. You have an impulse to go take a walk, or to go drive to this place, or to pull off, or take that left, or take that right. And when you have that impulse to do it, just do it. Don't
Right.
stop trying to control it. Just do it. That's what I'm working on, because like when I have an impulse to do something, like anything, it's something so simple. Like you get an impulse to remember to bring something with you on your trip. So when you have the impulse, just go do it instead of,
Yeah.
I'll get that later. We justify these things, and instead of those impulses or our higher selves communicating with us, letting us know and giving us the guidance of and the path of least resistance, which is in your joy anyway, which is following your passions. And
Right.
we end up justifying it, or rationalizing why we shouldn't do that, instead of just doing it and just trusting it. And it's a tough thing to do when you get, that whole transition from you're like crippled in fear. You're too scared to do anything. You won't go
Right.
outside of your box at all. But then once you start going outside the box and realizing, life is pretty freaking grand once you can open
Yeah.
up your view like that and start to see the world and through different eyes, through a different lens. And it's beautiful. And
It is.
you will.
And it becomes magical.
It's also about how you see yourself. Your perception of yourself is what you're going to manifest, is what's going to create in your life, is what's going to be reflected back to you. So,
Right.
if you think you're rich and you perceive yourself that way, no matter what's reflected in your bank account, that's how you're going to see yourself. That's going to be reflected back to you. You're going to be in abundance. You're going to live in abundance. And that's what I've been working on, and I'm fascinated with it. Like, I want to master this law of attraction and this manifesting, and it's like consciously creating and directing my life, and it's magical.
Yeah.
It's so easy
And
to
the
get
and
off
the
your path, though. It really is. It's so easy to get distracted and just take that left or that right, and go, into an old thought pattern, an old thought or an old behavior pattern. It's so easy to get into that. And you have to
oh yeah.
constantly, consciously remind yourself of who you really are, that you are an infinite being that's living a human experience, that in the grand scheme of things, all your problems are very insignificant. Like,
Yeah.
it's just little petty shit. When you back it up and realize that you are a piece of God, that you're connected to source energy,
You're a creator.
you're having really aren't that big of a deal. It's really
Yeah,
not.
you're a creator, man. It's in you. You can create a human. You can
Right?
create. You can create anything.
Yeah.
I had that another vision, or another, it was almost like my higher self was saying it to me. And it's kind of like saying, dude, I came to this earth. This is the way he was putting the shit to me, or at least it felt like a message I was getting. He's like, I came here to experience this place. You are a fucking party pooper. You're the dude that we call up and say, hey man, the band that we love, that we've been loving for 25 years, to come into town tonight. And you're like, oh, I can't, man. If I get up late and I go to work late, but I thought you hated that job. Yeah, but I got to pay, my rent's due. But I thought you fucking hated where you live. Yeah, but man, where else am I going to go? Dude, you can crash on my couch. Oh, well, I don't want to really do that. I got a dog, He's like, my higher self's like, dude, you're like a buzzkill. You're like, I come here, woohoo, we're on earth, dude. We're going to experience some shit. We're going to have sex. We're going to have love. We're going to have pizza. I'm going to have all kinds. I come here to do this thing. And here you are driving this car going absolutely nowhere. You won't turn left. You won't turn right. You won't speed up. You won't slow down. You're just going this safe little, you're like a wuss. And I'm having to ride with your ass. I picked the wrong dude. You're sitting there thinking, damn, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know I was doing this to you. But you listen. Your higher self is like, I ain't going to let you fucking fall out. And, that's letting me. I come here to experience this shit. Trust me, I'm going to make it happen. That's why I came here. You're the one who's stopping us. You're the one who's stopping us. Let me drive, which you're not allowed to drive.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't drive. Then I can tell you where we're going. Listen to me and do what I say. Then you got to get there. You got to get there. You got to be like, okay, all right, dude, I ain't even going to look no more. What are you saying to go? Turn left? All right, I'm turning left, you know.
Yeah.
And just, you got to trust in it. You got to go with it. See what happens. See, what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. What's the worst that can happen?
I mean, you can go back to your shitty job probably, and just tell them when you quit. Say, hey man, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. I may have to come back. Tell your people that you're renting off of, hey, I hate this place, but I may end up coming back. But and you never will. You'll never look back. You once you get the wind in your face and you breathe in that air and everything is different, the possibilities are different and nothing's mundane anymore, and now life is an adventure and your heart is fucking racing and you're pumping and you're breathing and you're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? And you get up and your mind is just, you don't get up and say 6:30, 6:45 I'll be at Speedway getting my coffee, getting gas. 7:15 I'll be pulling off the interstate at my exit. 7:30 I'll be clocking in all the way till noon. Then I'll go to McDonald's or Wendy's, whichever I choose today, and the same thing. And it's so easy. And you got this. It's just like you being led around, you're not even making decisions anymore. Your heart doesn't race. You're not excited. You don't get no goosebumps. It's just,
safe.
I mean, wouldn't you rather starve to death and just live out of a dumpster than to live that way? I mean, really, I mean, who wants to? And I know that sounds kooky, but at the end of the day, when you die, man, you're going to look back and say, oh my God, what was I doing for 50 years doing the exact same shit every single day? Never, ever, ever lived.
Yes, like that's how you should ask. What you should ask yourself: if you die tomorrow, is any of this significant? Does any of this matter? Does it?
Yeah. And you'll be, you'll look back and you'll remember the things where you was bold, and it'll be the crazy things you did and the times you took the chances, because every time you do that, that's when the magic happens. That's when, it reminds me like this one time I had bought these tickets for the Daytona 500, and I bought them. You have to buy them a year ahead of time. Or this guy that I got them from, you have to pay for them a year ahead of time. That way you can keep your seats. And he had good seats, turn forward, all this. And I bought these tickets, and I remember that it came up to the time, and I just didn't have the money to go. I wasn't going to be able to go, so I called one of my cousins, and it was like 2 days before. He's one of these dudes who plans everything. He will not do anything unless he has a plan, and he has plenty of time to plan it, and he can organize this and organize. And he's like, no. I'm like, dude, I'm going to give you these tickets. This ticket's like 150 something bucks a piece. There's like maybe 160 bucks. At $300 something dollars, I'm just going to give them to you. The only thing I want you to do is take a cheap ass camera, take some pictures, and give me a copy of the pictures that show me you have a good time. No. So I called my other cousin. Well, my other cousin, his brother, is crazy and wild. This dude is off the seat of the pants. He's like, hell yeah, Bones. What the fuck you talking about? Let's do it, Bones. I'm like, how am I gonna? He goes, you ain't got nothing to pawn. You ain't got nothing to take the pawn shop. And start thinking, I do have an extra driver, because I'd been buying. I was on a golf thing at that time where I was just buying driver after driver. Each one cost 200 something. So I went and pawned in some golf clubs. He pawned in a Sawzall, an Air Neller and shit. Went and borrowed $40. My cousin fronted us a little sack of weed. Next thing you know, we got enough gas to get there. We take off. This van is knocking, so we have to adjust the timing on it as we're going. By the time we get on the south side of Indy, we're finally to the point where I've got the timing just right. So we're in the wind now, dude. We're just flying. We ended up getting there. We made that trip in like 40 there and back to Daytona, watched the race, and came back drunk as hell all the way there and back. I shouldn't probably talk about it, but yeah. And we made it happen. We just did it, just through caution of the wind. Now everybody was pissed off back home, because we did that. Well, especially the lady, she was leaving him and everything. But if you just go do some shit, if you just take off and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do it, you will do it.
Then you'll do it. You'll find a way to do it. It's like, look, you changed your perception. You started seeing how you can acquire
How
that.
you can make it happen.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's yeah. That's exactly how everything worked out for me too. It's like I had to change my viewpoint on certain things and let go of things that I was attached to that I didn't realize I was attached to until I was like, then I realized I had an attachment to it. I'm like, well, I don't want that. So I just let it all go, and
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, and you can, and the material possessions, a lot of people don't realize you've got so many material possessions that you don't need. When you go to make moves like this and you go to get rid of that shit, you realize that those are all boat anchors. You're sitting around, and I've realized this so many times, all I do is sit around and babysit my shit. I've got a garage full of stuff. I got a shed full of stuff. I got a room full of stuff. And I only need about a couple of backpacks and a duffel bag. And the rest of it, I don't give a shit about. I could split and just leave it. But I sit here and babysit it. You know, it's my stuff. It's my stuff. Oh my God, what am I going to do with my stuff? It's just stuff.
It's really a
It's
burden
just
because
stuff.
if
And it's actually your ticket.
yeah, yeah, and I like how you said the boat anchors. That's exactly what it is. And if you go somewhere, if you move, or if you're in between houses, you got to put that shit into storage. You got to move it and move it again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
really, why? Like, what is it? What is it that you're attached to? What part of that is attached to? Because I mean, like you said, you could really simplify it into a couple bags full of shit, maybe a few boxes of things if you want to hold on to some things. Like, I really condensed my life into one suitcase and one backpack.
Yeah. That's all you need.
And I got another backpack, which is like for all my hiking and camping stuff that I'll have my brother send to me eventually. But that's like
Whatever.
stuff that I wanted to bring that I couldn't. It'd have been too much.
But nice thing is a lot of the things that you had, I know that you had like survival things, and you collected silver and you collected this and that and probably weaponry and whatever. And that was your bank account. That's what made, you didn't know why you were putting it back. You thought, oh, I'm going to need this someday. I'm going to need this someday. But you didn't know why you was going to need it. Your higher self knew.
Yeah.
Part of you're thinking, oh, it's survival shit. Your higher self is like, yeah, this is money in the bank, boy. Just keep buying this shit, because eventually you're going to live your dreams, and we're going to sell this shit to get you where you're going. And that's exactly what happened. And a lot of times that's what our stuff is. It's just an accumulation. It's a bank account. Sell it and go. You'll get it again. Trust me. I can rebuild this stuff and have all this all over again. I went through guitars. I went through fishing gear. I went through golf stuff. I went through so much stuff in my life where I've sold it and then got it again. Sold it and got it again. Sold it and got it again.
And that's another thing we talked on the last episode about how addiction is almost like so similar to this awakening, like coming out of addiction, meaning like when you get clean and change everything in your life. Like I sold everything before for drugs. I didn't have any electronics, TVs, VCR, DVDs, whatever it was. Everything was sold for drugs. Like I had nothing. And I did that twice, and I reacquired it and sold it all again, and then reacquired it, and I kept it all. But this time I left it. I just moved away from it because it wasn't worth even the conversation with the person to take the stuff out of the house. And honestly, they were better with it, and I didn't need it. Even though I spent
your
money
perception.
on it, it wasn't important to me. It was important to them.
Perception is everything.
Yeah.
Perception is everything. I had a similar situation to that, and where I had to get out of a situation. This is years and years and years ago, but I had to get out of a situation, and I had tools, I had personals, clothes, I had a lot of things, but I wanted out of that situation. I wanted out of it. I left it all, and thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And that was the lure that they would try to use to get me back. Well, if you come back, you can have your stuff. So I don't want my shit. I don't want nothing. No, lose my number. I don't want nothing. I'm gone. And that's where you got to sort of get. You got to get to where, all these things that matter, when you really get down to it, they don't matter. If the house was burning, what would you really grab? There's probably two things you probably grab if you had the time. And the rest of it, you'd let it burn. You wouldn't risk your life for it. but you're going to sit there and give away your life, hours and hours, and just to babysit it, to pay for a roof over its head, and, you know,
It keeps you there.
put
It's a
everything
crutch.
you need, a duffel bag and a backpack and a suitcase or whatever, and split. Because really what you want to do is you want to get some wind in your face. You want to go out, at least me, I want to see some things. I want to see some things that we've been talking about our bucket list here lately, and where she wants to go and where I want to go, because that's what we're doing. This is what we're doing, you know. She's about to quit, and right now we're cleaning out things and trying to get the house to where we can move. Probably be Wesley. He'll be the one moving in, because this house is so perfect for kids to be raised in, and I would love to see my grandkids raised here. You know, you've seen the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a junk little house on the corner, but for kids, it's the perfect yard. You got the field next door.
It's great.
You know,
the
big
great location.
lot across the street. Yeah, it's awesome, and the schools are awesome schools. But yeah, so we're in the midst of, but we've got a lifetime. We've been here for 30 years, and there's a lot of crap. So we're like going through and seeing, okay, what needs to be put in boxes. Like we got pictures. We got her grandma's pictures, her mom's pictures, her dad's pictures. I got my grandma's, my grandpa's, my dad. So we've got boxes and crates of pictures and videos and VHS tapes. All that stuff has to be. I do want to keep that somewhere safe. I do want to have that, you know. But a lot of the other shit's got to go. Then I've got certain things that are sentimental to me that was left to me about my grandma or whatever. And that stuff will have to be boxed up. So we're going through things right now, figuring out what is the stuff that we really, you know, we want to put out in the garage and put up in the loft up there and box it up and wrap it and get it safe where it's safe, you know. And then the rest of the shit, man, sell it or give it. You know, I've been giving stuff to the boys, and tools and golf stuff and musical instruments and whatnot, and then giving my granddaughter some of my camera gear and just different things. So I'm just giving away stuff or selling stuff or just getting rid of this stuff. And the more I get rid of it, the more I can breathe. It's like all these things are sitting on top of my chest, and each thing I take off, I'm like, you know, it's a breath of fresh air. I miss some of it. I'm like, well, that's a nice thing to get away, but
it's nice. It's freeing, you know. It's
liberating.
Yeah, liberating. It really is. And you know, I went through several stages of purging, you know, and before coming out here to California was the final purge, and it was like, just like you said, everything that I had been collecting while I was in a different mind state was all.
That's what got you here.
And I had to switch my mindset to a point to where I realized that, like, this is just the tool that I had set up to do what I do. So, you know, sell it all and go, you know. Took a major hit on it, but
it was actually all those things that you bought, in the end of the day, they were self-preservation things.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you used it for, just in a different way, you know, just in a different way.
Yes. And it was the exact amount of money I needed to get out here.
Yeah.
It just so beautiful.
That's how it works.
Yeah. It's,
yeah, I love it.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm like going through other shit. I'm putting stuff on Let Go still. I got a whole bunch of stuff for sale. So I'm still, it's like kind of exciting to me. Like, what else can I sell? What else do I not need? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I know right where you're at, man. You change your mindset, and what happens is when you become fresh again. You're like a clay, you know. You was this vase, and then maybe later on somebody molded you into a bowl, and you was comfortable as that bowl for so long. Well, now you've taken yourself back into this ball, and you're remolding yourself into something new, and it's like the possibilities are endless. It's like, what can I be? You know, I've been a bowl, I'm done with that. I've been a vase. What do I want to be? You know, do I want to be a yard jockey? Do I want to be, you know, a hummingbird? What do I want to be? Anything. I'll be it all. Maybe this day, maybe tomorrow I'll be a robin. The next day I'll be a bunny rabbit, you know. Next time I'll be a Studley, Joe Atlas, muscle bound, you know. But whatever, you can just remold yourself. You don't have to stay, you know, you don't have to stay in that same shape, in that same form. You don't have to. Just because that's what you were doesn't mean that's what you have to be. You're clay, man. You just remold yourself. Just recreate, because that's what you are, as a creator. And the greatest thing that you create when you come here is your persona. This, you know, there's some guys I know these guys. It's funny. I knew this one dude that he had a baseball card. I was into baseball cards right after I got clean and sober about 20 something years ago. But anyway, he had this baseball card shop, and you know how you get off of one thing, your obsessive compulsive behavior leads you, you know, an addict. You always go to have to be addicted to something else. So I got on the sports cards, and he had this shop. Well, this one dude always used to come in there, and he's kind of this goofy looking dude. And he always wore jerseys, you know, big sports jerseys, and kind of a red hair, kind of a tall, lanky, goofy kind of, didn't have much style. See him 2 years later, this dude's in all leather, got snakes tattooed on him. He's got a Harley, and he switched. He completely changed the dude that he was into this new dude. He manifested into this biker. He became this new persona, you know, and by now he could be a cowboy, and he might have the rebel flag on. He might have a Trump shirt on. Who knows? You know, I don't know. But you can be anything you want, and you can recreate yourself into anything you want at any time. That's the magnificence of this earth. Live it.
Constantly recreating yourself in every moment. You know, that's how I feel. Yeah. I've been living lately. I'm like, I'm focusing a lot on like, what do I really want to do? Like, what is like the most exciting thing that I can think of, and how do I do that? You know, how can I do that now?
Yeah.
And there's so many things out here that I want to do. There's like no lack of imagination, or like you can just use your imagination like we're doing now. We're looking into creating an event here to go like watch the sunrise or the sunset on the mountain, like to take a group of people out and do like healings and meditations and things like that. Like something so simple that I've already been doing. This is something I do because I enjoy it. I do it on my own, you know, and we had the idea that, well, maybe we could, you know, incorporate other people into this, and have that as a service that we provide, and share this with people, that, because it's like a lot of people out here don't even know about this place, and they've lived there their whole lives. They don't even think about it, that they have a paradise that's so close to them.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, because they're so busy driving down that same road, going to that same Starbucks and the same thing every day.
Yep.
And, man, I'll tell you, I don't want to look back on my life and wish to God I, you know, would have made some different choices. I want to make sure I make those choices so that when I do meet my days, when I do come to that time, that I can look back and say, you know, I was pretty fluid. I was like water. You know, you put me in a vase, I become the vase. You put me in a cup, I become the cup. You let me flow free, and I'm free flowing. Put me in a stream, and I become the stream. You put me in a lake, I become the lake. That's what I want to be. I want to be like water. You know, I want my form to change into whatever I decide it to be, you know. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I've been doing. We've been really lucky. And I think part of what happened to us is years ago when Jerry Garcia used to travel around, you know, with the Grateful Dead. We didn't go to the shows. We'd go to the parking lot and party, but we would go to this place called Pine Lakes. Everybody was always tripping. And, you know, when you do psychedelics, you really come into some insight. You really get around people who are in some deep insight. And I had discovered some things then that allowed me to be free flowing. And she and I have always done exactly what we want when we want. Now, not like we're gonna do, because we're about to really kick shit to the curb and take off and do it. But we have always like never fallen for the credit trap. We've never fallen for the you know, add ornaments to yourself and you'll be a better whatever. We've never fallen for any of that. We've always, you know, I make her laugh. The minute she gets up, this girl's in tears laughing. I guarantee you, I have her laughing. And that's what we do. We laugh, we have fun. If it doesn't feel fun, we don't fucking do it. It's what we want to do. And some people kind of think we're selfish because we've been that way for a while, but we don't do what other people want us to do. I mean, we will, like if it's a wedding, sure, we'll go, we have to go do
Yeah.
some of that stuff. But for the most part, we do exactly what we want. We just have always been that way. But we're ready to step it up a notch because we've really wanted to just take off and just like see where the wind blows us without a plan, without a schedule, without anything. Just give us some gas and go. See where it goes. See where we end up. You want to pull off here? Sure, let's do it.
Mm.
And that's what we're about to do. Is like that kind of a thing. We always thought we'd wait till we retire, but we ain't waiting that long.
No. No, you keep waiting and you retire and be like, all right, well, just one more year. Or just, all right, we'll do it next summer. We got to save up more money. So we get some more money or do this or do that. It's just going to just go. Just go. Do it. It'll work out. You'll find a creative way to make money while you're on the road. You've been doing that for a long time. You don't make money in the traditional sense that most people do, which is a great.
That's what I told her. I was like, man, I've been hustling since I was 7. I mean, I literally have been selling shit since I was a kid. I started off selling bicycles. I remember I would go, and back then, this is like for you, it was a little, you ain't part of it, but they used to have Teen Beat magazines. Kiss was like a big band. That's why I got back there. Because I was like my first band and shit. And I'd go buy because I wanted the Kiss posters, but they would have the Hardy Boys and Leif Garrett. These guys were heartthrobs for girls. Well, I'd pay 75 cents for the magazine, and I'd sell my sisters the pictures on it for 25, 50 cents a piece. And I ended up making a couple bucks on this magazine and getting my Kiss poster. My mom would get so pissed, but I was always like that. I think when I was 7 is when I got the first paper from. So I was always, by the time I was 10 or 11, I was quite the test. I always made money. I always found a way to get money. Get money. That's like going to sleep. It's just something I can do. It's just like, it's nothing. Other people,
Well,
though, don't have that. But for us, I'm gonna make it. Whatever we gotta do is gonna go down.
yeah, and that's something I need to change my mindset about too, and just money is not hard to make. You can make money in any way. Money comes easy to me now. Like I have to embody that mindset and just let it flow. Just to find the way to incorporate. Yeah.
Don't get in the way. But like I said, man, you got those 3 pipes. You
Yep.
get those 3 pipes. You're in the middle. At the bottom is the experience. At the end of the day, that's your experience. The flow's coming through your mind yourself, coming right to you. But you're cupped off to the side now, splashing all over the side of you. It's not going through
Yep.
you into the experience. So
That's
you're having no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, that's going upstream, That's going
Yeah.
upstream. That's like what we all do. We get in the stream and just start paddling against the current. Like that's what like that's why everyone thinks you got to work 80 to 100-hour weeks to be successful in this life, but find anyone that's truly really like successful, and they didn't work that way. They didn't do it that way. They know that it's an energy thing. They know that it's a spiritual thing, that they're in touch with the other altered states of consciousness that they allow and listen to. These people are aware that they're creating their reality, and they are aware that we are manifesting, and they know how to take advantage of that and how to use that to their advantage, because each of us have our own singular experience. We're co-creating with everyone around us, but it's an individual reality that we're creating, and it's up to you. You can change anything about your reality. I mean, look at my life in 6 months of what I went from to now, and it's just beginning, in my opinion. Like, it really hasn't even started yet. It's just about to get good, and it's been through so much in such a short period of time, and my beliefs have shifted so many times through that. It's just constantly evolving, and then it reflects in your reality. You change your inside first, and then it's reflected in your external, as above so below, as within is without. It's so true, and it's fascinating. You're muted. You muted. I can't hear you. No.
Oh, how about now?
Yeah.
Oh, was I? Oh, so you can hear anything?
Uh-uh.
So I guess I didn't interrupt you, did I?
No.
Anyway, no, I was saying, they always say that what you see on the outside is a reflection on the of what you are on the inside, and no, that couldn't be more true of what I've witnessed. That another thing that I sort of want to talk about this. I was going to talk about it on video that I'm getting ready to do. Is I was wondering why did I get a chance to see? Why was this yanked away from me? Why did I get a chance to see this? And why did I come into alignment with myself? And why was I like loving myself and forgiving everybody? Then all of it goes away, and I'm begging, I'm wanting it to come back. Please come back. But it was all here. It was all inside of me. It was all here the whole time. And I was out there looking. I'm looking. When are you gonna? Why? It's because me. I wasn't seeing that it's here, and I have such control of what I see. And I came into alignment one at a time right after Mom died. It was only for a few minutes or maybe an hour, and I had that feeling for a second because I really needed it because I really hit this like crazy spot where I went into this like rage. And I was telling you about that over those two kids that were cussing at cars, and I was wanting to go down and twist these dudes' head off so bad. But anyway, I come into it. I felt this like in awe feeling then just for a second, and then after the QHHT session, it built and it built and it built to where it got to. I was feeling it again, and I was like, I was emotional about it. I was like, oh my God, I love myself. I look at my pictures and I don't cut them, like my photography. I don't look at it and cut it and find all the problems. I'm literally seeing all the good. I'm seeing, and I don't even notice the things that I used to criticize. I don't even, and then I look at the stuff that I did used to criticize, and I'm like, that's nothing compared to, it's 99% good. And I'm focused on this 1%, one thing, this little, and that's the only thing I can see when I pull up or when I look at it, when I pull it up or look at it or whatever, I see that one little thing. And instead of seeing the whole thing, and the same with me, instead of seeing, what I can be and that I'm magnificent too, I always tell everybody, you're magnificent, but I never believe it for me, and I was just like, damn, dude, why have I not been feeling this whole time? Why have I not, and it's because I haven't looked. I've looked at that little teeny thing that I hate about myself. Yeah. And stayed focused on it, and I couldn't see the good things about me. And coming to that weekend was such a huge. Like I told Africa, and I don't know if you were there because you had got up and we were still talking. I told Africa and Sherry that Reconnection done so much for you guys, and I kept waiting. What does it do? What did it do for me? You guys are all going out here manifesting and living your dreams, and I'm still feel like I'm stuck, and I realized it led me to you guys. It led me to you. And that's what saved me, because that weekend saved my fucking ass, man. It saved me because not only did you guys lift me up and tell me, dude, people are listening to you. People are listening to you. Do you understand? People like and resonate with you. And the whole time I'm not thinking that. I'm not feeling that about myself. I'm looking at my channel like, man, everything I say sounds so stupid, and I'm not making, because I know that I have all this knowledge in here that I've been gathering, but when I go to spit it out, it fumbles up and mumbles up, and I can't articulate it the way I want. And I watch it, I'm like, man, that sounds so stupid. And I went off this way and I went off that way. And well, it wasn't long after that I also been getting people had been talking to me privately, inboxing me and saying the same things, but really getting heavy with it, and going deep and really touching me deeply. And it just, my spark lit back up, dude. I was like, oh my God, I am worthy, or something. I can't describe it, but just what a magnificent feeling to feel that, and yeah. Like I told you, I wrote that song immediately I had this vision of this song, and I haven't been messing with my instruments for years. I mean, I do. I pick them up here and there. When somebody comes over, we do the campfire thing. We'll pick and grin and play drums and do whatever. But I don't practice, and I haven't been writing music like I used to, and a bunch of different things. And man, I don't know if you was into that shit, but to me, I thought, oh, this is. If I get Melissa to put a video with this is going to be the shit. This song, because I thought to me it sounded grand. I have this grand idea for it, which I'm still working on it. And you've heard the beginning stages of it.
Yeah.
And but just having the courage to let you hear me, just to let anybody hear me, especially sing, because singing is where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I'll play instrument. Singing is like, So I know I'm in a different place by being able to do that. I know that I'm in a different place.
You're comfortable with yourself. You're accepting that's you. You're perfect.
Yeah, I'm realizing, man.
You're 100% enough just the way you are. You don't have to change.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if this isn't what you perceive to be as good as whatever you think it should be or could have been or whatever. It is what it is. Like, I don't even like saying that anymore, but it is. Like, it is, it's,
Yeah.
you're okay with it. As long as you accept yourself and that you're
Yes.
that you're enough. You
Yeah.
are enough, and it's a
What's
powerful thing.
What's funny?
Empowerment,
Yeah. What it is though, or what it feels like, it's like my higher self said, motherfucker, I ain't letting you back in this. You ain't driving no more. I'll sing. I got this. You sit over there and piss and moan and cry and wear your diapers. I'm fucking living. I'm going to sing, and I don't care who likes it, because I want to sing. And I want to play music, and I want to write music because I can do this. And if I can do it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to sit there and criticize myself to where I don't do it. I remember when I was always telling you, oh, I made this video, man, but I don't know. And you're like, post that shit, dude. Just do what keep going, post. And I was always knocking it, knocking this and knocking that, and always, And like, I've been going through my phone. I've got like 50 videos that have never been posted. But it's like, I don't care anymore. It's like, just say whatever you got to say. Put it out there. Like you always said, whoever needs to find it will find it, and it'll resonate with them at that time in their life when they need it. That's why you're doing it. That's why you're doing it. You're not going up for an Academy Award. You're not up against De Niro and, Patrick Swayze and whoever else. John DeVoe. Yeah, you're just a guy who's putting something out there, and it's for somebody, or you wouldn't be doing it. And that somebody needs it. Maybe not today, maybe a year from now, but whoever it is, they're manifesting this. Whatever I'm making, they're the ones manifesting it for themselves later on, because they're part of me.
Yeah.
So, I'm starting to come into realization of how everything is working and all the gears and how it's all working, how it's all interacting, working together.
Yeah. And that's something else I want to do. Is I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar and to sing. Like, I don't know. It's like a channeled state to me almost, where you get into that mode where you're like performing. And I've been doing like a performance kind of job, to where like you put on a show for people, and that's what I did as a salesperson, especially when I did sales. I'd spend 3 to 6 hours. Sometimes I just spent 11 hours in some dude's house before, like selling the whole time. And that's a performance. You go on, and we used to call it, we go on stage. When we get into someone's house, that was our stage. And we performed for hours, and we were entertaining and making people laugh and having a good time and making friends. And like, that's how I see it, like singing or performing or anything, like speaking even, is probably something I see myself doing more in the future, is speaking my truth to groups of people or what have you. Like, I do that with this, but I mean, like, in front of people, which I can do. I've done, not in front of like hundreds or thousands of people, but I've spoken in front of dozens of people, and it doesn't really bother me that much. It did at first when I first started. Like, I was listening to something last night that like the number one fear of people is death and like public speaking. Like, people fear speaking in front of people, I guess, because you have the fear. That's like what it is. You got the fear of people judging you and what they're going to think about you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, really
yeah,
don't care. What you think about me is none of my business, you know, as long as I'm happy with me and I know what I speak is my truth and it's in alignment with how I believe and how I live my life. That's all
yeah.
that really matters to me. That I'm
I've done a couple. I've done a couple eulogies, and that'll test you.
yeah,
That'll test you, man.
yeah,
Because it's the final. It's the end, and it's the last words that are being said about this person before we put them in the ground. And yeah, so talking in front of people, and I've always had stage fright when it comes to singing. Now talking is different. I've always been able to talk for some reason, but I still getting up in front of a crowd of people and talking, especially at a funeral.
yeah.
That'll test you. That'll put you through the test right there. But yeah, it's and that's you had mentioned talking in front of do you see that in your future? And that's when I was out on the porch talking to her about everything that's going on with me. That's one of the things I seen. I was like, I think that I see myself someday, because I see these people, on Mind Valley and and these different TED talks or whatever, different speakers, and the thing that they have in common is that they're good speakers. People resonate with them, should I say? Maybe some of them aren't that good of speakers, but for whatever reason, people resonate with them. And I'm starting to sense that with myself. I'm starting to realize that people are resonating with me. People are like
Yeah,
drawn,
man.
and like we're all magnetic beings. Phil Good was talking about this. We're all drawn to each other because we're magnetic anyway. And I'm just finally just stop beating myself up. I'm done seeing myself through the filter that I've been seeing myself through, that years and years and years and years of people just looking down, and just the past that I've created, and just all the things, the baggage that you carry around. And that's what I talk about, is that when you get to where you can forgive yourself, that's when you can forgive yourself, that's when you forgive everybody else,
That's
because you realize everybody. I made that one video, I was talking about how people just don't know what they're doing here. Everybody acts like they got their shit together, and you might think that.
that's what it is,
And
man.
me and Kim have talked about that. We've like had where we became friends with families to where we thought, oh, these people are like spick and span. They have no problem. And then once you go to their house and visit, and you're there maybe on a Saturday morning when they haven't got their shit together, or you catch them when they're off their game, you see these people are human too, and they yell at each other, or they leave their socks on the floor, or they do whatever. They're not perfect like you thought. They're just human, just like you. And a lot of it's a facade. A lot of it's an image that they're trying to portray. And then you see how hard they're working at it. Then you see how miserable they are trying to be something that they really aren't. They have to keep the yard looking this way. They have to get flowers because Nancy next door got her, she got her all of her petunias out. You got to get yours.
That's what Bashar said in the Conscious Life Expo this year. He said the hardest thing to do is to be something you're not, but that's what we're all trained to do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We all pretend to be something that we're really not. And once you stop pretending, is like that's like your awakening. When you realize that you have been pretending and that this was all a lie, or it was all bullshit, or it was all what someone else wanted for you, not what you truly wanted for yourself. Because like I said in a recent video, like I didn't even know what I wanted. I didn't know what I'd like because I did what other people wanted so much that I didn't know. I had to really think about what brought joy to me. What did I like doing? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just was like on a program, like, on autopilot, doing what other people wanted to do. And, I just like to see other people happy, and I like people around me to be happy. That's all I knew. And
Right.
so I would do things that they wanted to do to stay happy instead of like really doing things that I wanted to do, which I didn't even know what I wanted to do because I didn't think about it. So, it's like a magical world out there. It's an absolutely magical world. And it doesn't it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very, very simple. We're the ones that complicate it, and just coming into alignment with yourself, with your higher self, your true self, who you really are. That we're infinite beings. That's what it's all.
Exactly, man.
That's what it's all.
Exactly. But the main thing is you need to like let your higher self experience. You have to think of your higher self, dude, is as more important than you, because you are in the way of the experience. This dude came here, this spark of consciousness came here, got stuck with you, but he's trying to have the experience of this planet. There's no other planet like this planet. And he's come here. It's like going to Kings Island. And once you go there, you're with this parent that's holding your hand. Nope, you can't ride that. That's too high. Nope, that's for the big kids. Nope, that's too fast. That one does this. That one, and all you get to do is go over on the bumper cars. That's it. And you don't get to experience anything. And here you are in the greatest place ever. Just this amusement park of reality. And you can't do anything because the guy that you're with is holding you down. It's like, don't hold
everything.
Yeah. This spark, this consciousness knows what's up around the corner, knows what's happening. Trust in it. Let this dude live through you. Let him experience this life. Go have caviar, go have hog balls, whatever one of them things called.
I don't know.
You never heard of that? Escargot, is that what it's called? No, that's snail. Somebody will comment. It's got a fancy name because sometimes there's like a comedy and somebody will order it and then they find, because it's like got a fancy name like escargot or something, but they come to find out it's hog balls. Because escargot is snails, you see it on the menu, it sounds all fancy, I'll have the escargot. You're like, what the hell is this? It's a bunch of snails. But yeah, anyway, there I go. You know me, I'll take it somewhere.
Your voice has been like cutting in and out, going into that weird sound a couple times through this show. But we've been talking for a while here, about an hour and a half, so maybe about an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know how long you got on yours. But
I couldn't even see it. We can wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good show, man. I really do enjoy doing this, and it's just a lot of fun. I think I got this whole week, so maybe we should get some recordings done. Maybe we can create some other kind of shows or do something else. I don't know. I'll talk to you off camera. All right, everybody. We love each and every one of you. Be the change that you want to see. I hope you got something out of this show. We share our experiences, and I know a lot of people are resonating with what we've been going through and what, that's why we share our experiences with you. So you can, maybe that'll help validate or
like you said, if we could just help one person, that's the whole reason we started this to begin with.
Yes.
That's when I first started. I went through my little phases where I'm like, what am I doing? But I know what I'm doing. I know why I did it. I know that it was to communicate to somebody who I felt like needed to hear, and I wanted to give experience of the reconnection experience, but also at the same time wanted to kind of like start my journey on manifesting. And some people are kind of like getting on board with me and Kim, and I want them to follow us and watch and see what we do, because they can do it too, and we're going to do it. And like I say, it's just a matter of hopefully September, October, November, sometime we're getting the hell out of here. Yeah. Hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully. I should just say we are.
You're already doing it. You are already doing it. You're already taking the action to manifest these experiences that you want to have and these places that you want to be. You're starting now, and that's part of that shift you're going through, and you're there, man. I can't wait to see your journey, and you come visit out here on the mountains. It would be a great time.
Yep. Just in a few months, brother, we'll be there.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. You just keep finding all those cool places to take us to.
Will do. All
I
right,
love
everybody. We love you.
you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Love you. We love you.
You.
Love yourself. Love me. Love Bones. Love yourself. And me. Did I say me? Love me. Yeah.
Yeah. And me.
I love me, so you should love me too. I'm just saying.
Right. Because we're all the same, baby.
Yeah. All right, people. Bye bye.
All right.